Darnell, what's it been like going through spring? Kirby said he's trying to get creative to keep injured guys involved. Things he's done to try to keep you guys involved.
First and foremost, for like me personally, while they're doing flex and stretching and things like that, I'll be like on the bike, etc. And I mean, I'm in between working out and watching practice.
How is your foot, your ankle? How is that feeling right now? How far along do you think it is?
It feels great. Far along, I'm not really sure like the time frame. I just take it day by day, do my rehab, and let Mr. Ron decide.
I guess that goes without saying there has to be some degree of frustration when someone is the talent that you've got and has had these injuries. What was that like last year, being sidelined and seeing a teammate like Brock have these monster numbers? Or were you happy for him, or was it at the same time tough?
Nah, yeah, most definitely. You know, I'm happy for my whole team, tight end group, especially. But I mean, I guess it was rough a little bit, but I mean, it's just nothing like that I could have handled. I cheered. Like my role at that time was cheering on my team, and that's Brock or Stetson or whoever it may be. So I was just doing my role, team player.
Darnell, what is your injury and how did it happen?
It happened over spring, just training, things like that, but nothing serious.
Did you wonder whether if the foot injury hadn't happened, you might have had the season that Brock had? Or
I really don't think like that. I just think of it as we won the Natty, so I mean, what's better than that?
So what are your expectations now? Brock back, Eric is playing tight end. Are there enough balls? Are there enough snaps for everybody?
I believe so. It's just something. I just got to come back off injury and just work, just like my Brock and Eric and everybody else in the tight end room doing. We all working, so I just feel like only time tells.
I know Georgia uses a lot of double, 3 tight end set. Is that kind of what you're looking at? Is that this isn't like old school tight end where only one guy really could play that they can?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, we did it last year, as you've seen, and why not do it this year again?
How hungry are you to kind of be fed, get touches and catches and all that? I mean, it's a very talented room, I know.
Yeah, it's a talented room, but like I said earlier, I just do my role. If my role is to block, I'll block. I'm a role player.
I guess with all those frustrations, how seriously have you considered transferring and going elsewhere, and how much have you talked with Kirby and Coach Monk and Coach Hartley about maybe the pros and cons of it?
Not really. I kind of don't think about that. I just think about just coming here.
With the injuries and quarterback changes and all that kind of stuff, I mean, do you still feel like you're getting settled in to your Georgia career, even though you've kind of been here?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like just committed here. I just felt settled in, and them opened up their arms and accepted me here. Was home, I guess. I feel pretty settled in here with whoever's throwing me the ball or whoever's at quarterback.
With your family, I mean, I look at a guy like you with your talent again, and I think, is this a contract year? I mean, you look like the kind of guy with one good year that could be in the league. I mean, do you have to approach it that way, or is it how do you look at it?
I mean, I really don't know the future, but I mean, hopefully, I hope for a good year. Hope to go pro next year, but I don't know. No one knows.
Last spring, the spring game, I think you had a big game. How important is it that you were able to have something like that behind you? Like I said, considering that the injuries have kind of derailed your seasons a little bit, was that a big G-Day game for you? And is that something you kind of carry in the back of your mind that's there for you once you get 100?
I say I live day by day. So whatever's in the past, and I really don't look forward to the future. So I just think of today, what I could do today to get better, as in anything mental, physical, anything like that.
When you came in, I'm trying to think, was there a need before? Because I remember, and again, forgive me for asking a question dating back, it's the first time we talked to you. I remember Kirby was on you, or somebody was on you in practice. It was about conditioning. Was that because of a knee or something that happened the summer before you came in?
Nah, you talking about freshman?
Yeah.
I came in. I just came in, you know, a little bit heavier than what I thought I was from high school, but I just, you know, like I wasn't up to college speed yet. You know, just me, you know, getting used to playing with the big boys. So that's
How tough is that? I mean, I guess you're from out in Nevada. How tough is it to adjust to not just any program, but this program? Because a lot of people say this place ain't for everybody.
Yeah, it's for sure not. You know, it's a different speed from. I'm not gonna just say it's Las Vegas, but like, you know, the West Coast in general. It's for sure faster. You know, everyone's big here, everyone's physical. It's just something you just gotta adjust to, or you don't belong here.
Darnell, I know you and Eric were two of the top tight ends in that class. What was y'all's relationship like before college, and you know, how has it changed since he's come to Georgia?
Before college, we knew each other through like camps, things like that, but nothing like serious. You know, like we texted. You know, it's just normal like high school recruiting stuff. Now, like I guess it changed. You know, like for example, like literally I picked him up early in the morning to come to workouts, and we just building upon that good relationships.
You call yourself a role player. I mean, not many five-stars kind of have that mindset. You know, what has Coach Hartley talked about? How he envisions, you know, you growing your game?
One thing with Hartley, I mean, he's a coach. He's all about if we're physical. Like he said, one thing he says in like during the meeting rooms, he'd be like, he don't really care if you catch 100 balls. He says like as long as we're physical and dominant at the point of attack, that's all he really cares about. Winning on one-on-one blocks, things like that.
At the same time, it seems like every time the ball is thrown your way, it's a giant mismatch. People wonder why that doesn't happen more. Are there things that they've actually talked to you about that you do need to get better at in order for it to happen?
I feel like everyone got to get better at something, you know, in their bag, in their game. I know I got to get better in, you know, one-on-one situations as well, even though I may have big plays or things like that, but I know I got to get better at just the little stuff, footwork, and, you know, things like that.
One-on-one before the ball is thrown or when the ball is thrown?
Before. Both.
Before
you know,
getting the separation?
Yeah, you know, just both things.
Did you give us a timeline on when you'd be back out of the booth and back going?
If it was up to me, like my guess would be like spring. I mean, not spring, summer. But I mean, I'm really not sure.
Having gone through the like spring practice before, what about missing those spring reps is so challenging as a player?
I'd say biggest factor is just staying locked in. You know, because I mean, I'm not out there, so I'm just on the sideline looking at the signal and seeing like whoever's in like Reek or Brett or whoever it may be, just saying like, all right. Like, if I didn't know that signal, I'd be like, all right, you know, like, this is what I would have had, or, you know, things like that.
And is having that, just so much talent in that tight end room, has that been a motivation for you?
Just like the talent?
Yeah, just the talent and being able to see some of the seasons the guys have had.
You said it's a challenge for me?
Has that been a motivator
Oh,
for
motivation?
you?
Yeah. You know, I feel like we all push and lean on each other, you know, to get better in certain areas. Like, I don't know, give a pointer tip to Brett, or Brett may give a pointer tip to Brock, or, you know, just pass along throughout the room, bounces out, you know, during the meetings and film.
There's 1 minute left in case y'all want to go to Coach Tresman, so just a warning.
Where do you think you've made the most growth since you've come to Georgia?
I say my blocking. For example, if you go back to my high school film, I didn't block. I was a receiver technically in high school. So when I came here, you know, I never blocked against Trayvon, any guys like that. You know, coming from Las Vegas, never blocked against like a guy like Aziz, things like that. So I feel like blocking was my
They
biggest.
still say you're one of the best blockers. Is that just technique, or is it want to, or how do you explain that?
I guess it's my mindset, you know, just flipped from catching a lot of balls during high school and just want to be physical at the point of attack. Because when I first came here, you know, like my first time blocking somebody, it wasn't really pretty. So I was just like, yeah, I got to flip the switch. So it's just my 1-2 got bigger, my why got bigger, you know, just things like that.
We're gonna have 2 more questions for Darnell.
Is blocking something, once you got here, you realized you had to embrace it if you were going to play with the talent in the room and what I guess the tight ends do?
Yes, sir. Most definitely.
How was that hard for you once you got here? And you're like, I came here to catch touchdowns and stuff, and now they're asking me to block maybe more than you envisioned doing maybe back in high school?
Nah, it wasn't really hard for me because I knew at some point in time I would have to block if it's here, college or NFL or wherever I may be. So it wasn't hard. I just knew something that I had to do.
Did you go home after the net?
Yes.
Just for a few days?
Yeah, a few
come back?
days, yeah.
Anybody like all the way out there rep the GA? They know? Or I don't know if you walked around anywhere.
Nah, I was just an indoor guy, family guy. Stayed inside. That's all.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Darnell.